Did a second look reveal anything that wasn't, maybe present right after the game?
No, it confirmed a lot of the things that we saw. And bottom line, it was not good enough for us. We scored 6 even strength goals. That should be enough to win a game. For us, our checking skills, our defending fundamentals have to really improve. We scored 6, but we gave up 7 even strength.
You've had those roller coaster games, though, where does the game come from? You're checking, and all of a sudden it's a high scoring game, and then you get back to it.
Yeah.
So as a coach behind the bench, you're looking at, okay, what happened here? We played just 2 excellent games, and then all of a sudden this one just gets away.
Yeah, and it's a new series for us and a different team with different capabilities. And for us, I really believe we have to get back to defending properly, and that is something that we've hung our hat on here for the last 3 months or so. I think it's what's led to some of our success. We have always held the belief that we feel that we're going to score enough to win games. But for us, our work back to our own end, our detail in our own end, certainly is an area of improvement that we're going to focus on.
You said a few times you liked the production of the 6 goals that you scored.
Yeah.
How did you feel like you played offensively? Were you happy with the chances that you generated and the work in the offensive zone overall?
Well, I was happy that we hung 6 goals on their starting goaltender on the road. For us, I think that we can do some things a little bit harder in the offensive zone and a little bit earlier in the game. I'm going to the defending side of things. Certainly we can be a lot better on that side of things, but offensively we can be harder early in the game, and then you might not find yourself down the way we did.
Jay, is there a significant difference at all in how you have to defend successfully against a team that's much more aggressive on the forecheck in Calgary compared to Los Angeles? How do you have to defend different?
You know what, Jason? I would actually say that LA's forecheck presented some real interesting issues. Different type of forecheck. I think Calgary gets a lot of offense from their D. So when the puck gets up to the point, they shoot a lot of pucks and they keep pucks alive. So for us, it's a different challenge. We're focusing on different things. Our belief is that the better we are at breaking out, the less time you're spending in your own zone. We want to make sure that our ratio of breakouts compared to D-zone coverage is where we want it to be. We want to play defense the right way, but we just don't want to spend a lot of time there.
This might sound odd, but were you checking too aggressively to the outside and leaving the middle open?
I would say that there was some things that showed up in our game that we haven't seen in a few months. And so for us, I thought, can we be better? We can be better for sure.
You didn't those pulling Mike.
Yeah.
Maybe the first goal didn't look like it was very good, but the other 2 goals, you just figured, okay, they've already got 3. I got to change.
I'm a big believer in sequence of events, and I saw us give up a goal in the first shift of the game on a play that for us is easy, something that we've identified as something that of how we want to check it. We didn't do a good job on that. They scored on the second shift. We called the timeout. After that, we gave up another goal. And for me, it wasn't even about Mike. It was about our team in that moment. And I was just trying to slow the game down. And, in the end, there's certainly lots to work on. We found a way to tie it up in the third period. As I said, we hung 6 goals on their starting goaltender in their building. That should be enough to win a game. But there's things that we're going to focus on to make sure that we're taking care of our end a little bit better to help Mike and Mikko.
Did their PK do something, or did you see something from their PK that?
No, their PK was exactly what we expected it to be. Yeah. Sometimes when you review the film, you go to us or them. We knew what was coming. As I said last night in the press conference, we've had a pretty good success rate against that penalty kill during the regular season. Last night, I thought our power play crispness and sharpness was symptomatic of our team game overall.
Jay, when you have two impact guys in Leon and Darnell that don't look 100%, what kind of challenge does that present for you in terms of how you use them?
Well, yeah, I think, first of all, they're giving us great minutes. I think you want to make sure you're playing people towards their strengths. We've done some things specifically with Leon where we moved him around the lineup a little bit. He's still playing big minutes for us. He's still making plays and has an impact on the game. And he's just a warrior. In terms of Darnell, Darnell's someone that has a champion's mindset. He's somebody that refuses to be deterred. While he might not feel at his 100% marker, he's going to give you everything that he has, and he makes us a better team.
Jay, it was such a weird game, and you mentioned you saw some stuff that you haven't seen in a few months.
Yeah.
Do you think all the hype and anticipation of this series could have been a factor in last night?
Maybe. I think for us, obviously, our start wasn't where we needed it to be. We found ourselves down 3-1 heading into the second period. You saw how the second period played out, but we kind of hung around the game and found a way to tie it up. I don't think that game went according to our coaching staff's game plan, and probably not their coaching staff's game plan either. I was 6-6 at the start of the third period. But it's playoff hockey. You got to find a way. Last night, we did not find a way. In the end, whether we lost that game 9-6 or 2-1 in overtime, doesn't matter. They have 1 on the board, and we have 0 right now.
You talked about about playing guys to their strengths.
Yeah.
Your goalie hasn't played 8 games in a row in at least 2 seasons, never played more than 4 in a row this season. Now he's looking at 9 tomorrow night.
Yeah.
You have a system predicated on 2 guys, and you're down to 1.
Yeah.
Has that become a problem with a 40-year-old goalie?
Well, I don't think so. I think for Mike, he didn't play a lot of hockey this year compared to a regular normal season for Mike Smith. The accumulation of rest, and while he was injured, but the accumulation of rest over his first 4 or 5 months of the season, I think sets him up to play good hockey down the stretch. He's been excellent for us. Last night, I didn't think our team was anywhere where it needed to be. He didn't play many minutes last night, but he'll be going back in tomorrow.
We talk a lot about your team starts.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
When a player hops over the boards for the first time in a game, what should be on his to-do list, Jay?
Yeah, you should be on your toes, an on your toes mindset. A mindset of asserting our game plan on the other team, not the other way around. The other team does get a say, but to me, I want us emotionally, physically, and mentally ready to take your first shift. And that's, for us, we talk about that a lot, is putting our focus on our details, the things that are within our control. I think when you do that, you put your focus on your next shift, the next battle, the next puck. That's on us. And as I said, it's on everybody. It's not to a man. Our group was not good enough last night to start the game.
Excuse me, sorry about that. We've seen a couple of other instances where, the narrative after a game is about you guys being physically pushed.
Yeah.
And maybe some questions about whether you pushed back hard enough in that regard. What
Yeah.
have you seen from this group in those moments and your ability to answer that bell?
Yeah, I think our physical attachment to the game was not at the standard that it normally is for us.
How do you feel like the dynamic of the team changes or is different when Leon plays the wing versus center?
Well, he's such a good player that he has the ability to go. I think if you watch the game last night, I moved guys around all over and kind of the chessboard, so he took some shifts in the middle. I think he is buoyed by playing with 97 when he does play on the wing. I think Leon makes people better, and he can do that on right wing, left wing, or center.
So Calgary's got 18 goals against you in the last 2 games. Is that on the goalies, or is that just your whole team? I said, holy man, 18 goals.
I think it's a perfect example of a recipe that is not conducive to finding a win, don't you? And so on theirs, right? And that goes back to my original point of You know, for us, it's not about what we're getting. We're comfortable with what we're getting. We've scored 6 goals we hung 6 goals on their starting goalie in their building. For us, it comes down to our fundamental defending, our checking skills, and our willingness to do it right for harder and longer. And last night, it wasn't at the level we needed.
Jay, you just said Mike Smith will start tomorrow.
Yep.
What did that conversation look like? Did you approach him? Did he approach
Yeah,
you?
that typically happens with the goalie coach who informs him. But Mike is quite clear on the team's faith in him, and certainly the coaching staff's faith as well.
Jay, to follow up on what you said a little bit last night, you almost took your time out, early in the third period by saying to the team, whoever finds their defensive game in the third is going to win this game. At 6-6, in retrospect, regardless of the start or anything that happened, was that ultimately the difference in your mind?
Yeah, I thought, so what Jack's referencing is, and I mentioned last night, was, we walked into that second period intermission, and we talked about how we were one shot away, how we felt they were on their heels versus our attack. And we were comfortable that we were going to find that 6th goal, and we had the whole period to do it. But for us, our focus went to whatever team was going to find their defensive game first. Now, when we tied it up, we didn't love some of our details in our defending after we did that, and ultimately that cost us.
Will there be some lineup changes tomorrow?
I don't know. You know what? We're going to sit and take the day, and then we don't play until 8:30 tomorrow night, so we'll see tomorrow.
Jim, you'd already told you to use your timeout.
Yeah.
What's your strategy? Have you ever thought, have you ever used, pull Mike Smith, give him a 2-second, until the next whistle, put him back in as kind of a second timeout? You ever use that strategy?
Yeah, I just thought, we gave up 3 goals, early in that first period. Mikko came in and kind of stemmed the tide for a little bit. When we use that timeout, the one thing we do after that is use the TV timeouts to make sure we're communicating exactly what we need.
Do you ever designate a guy, a coincidental minor, to be a different guy to come on first, the way Saturday did last night?
Sometimes the referees ask the question. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
We never knew that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you
Sometimes the referees ask that question. Yeah.